Regina King has long been admired as one of Hollywood's most respected actresses and directors, a woman whose confidence and resilience inspired millions. But in recent weeks, shocking rumors about her health have spread across the internet, leaving fans deeply worried. Reports have claimed that the 55-year-old star now appears dramatically thinner than ever before, with some online stories even alleging that her weight has dropped to nearly 77 pounds. Those claims have fueled widespread speculation, turning her name into one of the most discussed topics across entertainment media and social platforms. According to viral reports, people close to the actress have become increasingly concerned about her physical condition. One rumor even suggested that television host Robin Roberts, a longtime friend of King, privately expressed fears about Regina's health, allegedly saying she keeps expecting heartbreaking news because her friend appears so fragile. The statement quickly circulated online, adding even more emotion to an already alarming story. Supporters were especially moved because Roberts has publicly faced serious health battles herself, making many believe she would understand the emotional and physical toll of prolonged illness better than most. As these stories continued spreading, additional claims appeared suggesting that Regina herself had quietly admitted she was struggling. Unverified reports quoted her as saying that her body no longer responds the way it once did and that simple movement had become increasingly difficult. Whether those words were authentic or taken out of context, they painted the image of a woman fighting an intensely personal battle behind closed doors. Fans described feeling heartbroken at the thought that someone known for such strength could now be facing such overwhelming physical limitations. Medical discussions surrounding the rumors also intensified. Health professionals frequently note that significant, unexplained weight loss in adults can result from many different causes, including chronic illness, severe emotional stress, hormonal changes, metabolic disorders, or other underlying medical conditions. At 55 years old, losing a substantial amount of weight in a short period can increase the risk of fatigue, weakened immunity, muscle loss, and serious complications. However, without confirmed medical information from Regina King or her representatives, no one can accurately determine what, if anything, she may be experiencing. The speculation prompted an emotional response throughout Hollywood and among fans worldwide. Countless people shared messages of love, encouragement, and hope across social media, praising Regina for the extraordinary career she has built over decades. Public figures including Oprah Winfrey, Viola Davis, and Angela Bassett have all spoken highly of King's talent over the years, although many viral posts have exaggerated or invented specific statements of support. At the same time, organizations that advocate for mental health have continued encouraging conversations about grief, emotional recovery, and the importance of seeking help during life's most difficult moments. Regardless of the online rumors, Regina King's story serves as a reminder that public figures deserve compassion, privacy, and support while facing personal challenges, and fans everywhere continue hoping to see her healthy and thriving once again. Regina King continues to hold on to hope despite everything she has endured. She still lends her voice to animated productions, appears on podcasts, and occasionally accepts smaller creative projects, refusing to let life completely silence her. Yet growing concern from the media and those close to her suggests that without proper care, her fragile condition could decline even further. Medical experts stress that consistent nutrition, light physical activity, and emotional counseling are essential if she hopes to regain strength. But to understand how one of Hollywood's most respected actresses reached such a heartbreaking chapter, we have to rewind to the very beginning. Behind the awards, the applause, and the public admiration lies a lifetime filled with pain, relentless hardship, discrimination, broken trust, and eventually a personal loss so devastating that it nearly destroyed every reason she had to keep moving forward. Regina Renee King entered the world on January 15, 1971, in Los Angeles, California, growing up in the South Central community long before it became nationally recognized for violent crime, economic struggle, and the unforgettable unrest of 1992. Her parents, Thomas and Gloria King, worked tirelessly to build a better future for Regina and her younger sister, Raina, but escaping the harsh realities surrounding their neighborhood was never easy. Every day brought new challenges, and survival often required strength beyond their years. Her father, Thomas King, earned a living as an electrician, spending exhausting days performing physically demanding work just to keep food on the table. Her mother, Gloria King, devoted her career to teaching children with special needs while carrying the equally demanding responsibility of raising two daughters. Financial stability was always uncertain, and life inside their modest home reflected the struggles of countless working families in South Central. Nights were frequently interrupted by gunfire, children learned to avoid dangerous streets controlled by gangs, and encounters with law enforcement often inspired fear rather than comfort. Regina's childhood was shaped by experiences that no young child should ever have to face. She saw neighbors taken away in police cars, witnessed the painful aftermath of deadly violence, and instinctively learned to dive to the floor whenever certain sounds echoed through the neighborhood. Growing up amid constant danger throughout the 1970s and early 1980s left emotional wounds that quietly followed her well into adulthood. Living in constant fear slowly changed the way Regina viewed the world. She became intensely alert, always watching every room, every street, every unfamiliar face, expecting danger before it even appeared. Peace never lasted for long. At home, the pressure of financial hardship pushed her parents' marriage to the breaking point. Heated arguments became a regular part of family life, and many ended in loud confrontations that left both Regina and her younger sister frightened. Then, at only 10 years old, Regina watched her family fall apart when her parents officially divorced. The heartbreak was overwhelming. Like many children, she silently blamed herself, convincing herself that if she had behaved better, earned higher grades, or caused fewer problems, maybe her parents would still be together. After the separation, she remained with her mother while seeing her father only on weekends whenever his demanding work schedule allowed. Life became even harder after the divorce. Regina King suddenly carried the responsibility of raising 2 daughters alone on the salary of a special education teacher, one of the lowest paid professions in the country. Every dollar had to stretch further than it should. There were days when utility bills went unpaid and basic services were disconnected. Family meals were chosen based on affordability instead of nutrition, and Regina often wore clothes that had become too small simply because buying new ones wasn't an option. Even through those painful struggles, Gloria never lowered her expectations. She believed education was the only path that could free her daughters from the cycle of poverty. Homework had to be finished, grades had to improve, and excuses were never accepted, even when exhaustion had completely drained Regina. Every demand came from a mother's determination to give her children the future she never had. To Regina, however, that relentless pressure often felt like proof that love had to be earned. No matter how hard she tried, she rarely believed she was enough. Then fate quietly stepped in. At just 9 years old, she joined an after-school program at a neighborhood community center because her mother needed someone to watch her while working late. Among the available activities was a small drama class. And the moment Regina stepped onto a stage, something inside her changed. For the first time, the fear, anxiety, and uncertainty that haunted her everyday life disappeared. Becoming another character allowed her to escape the pain waiting outside the theater doors. On stage, she could be fearless, confident, and in control. Problems that seemed impossible in real life could suddenly be solved before the curtain closed. Her drama instructor, Mrs. Jameson, immediately recognized that Regina possessed an extraordinary gift. More importantly, she saw potential that Regina herself couldn't yet imagine. She became far more than a teacher, offering guidance, encouragement, and unwavering belief during the years Regina needed it most. She helped her rehearse monologues, prepare for auditions, and convinced her that acting didn't have to remain a temporary escape from reality, it could become her future. For a young black girl growing up in South Central Los Angeles, that dream seemed almost impossible. Hollywood offered very few meaningful opportunities to black performers, and most available roles were built around limiting stereotypes. Even so, Regina refused to let those obstacles define her future. While still attending elementary school, she began auditioning for television commercials and small acting parts. Most auditions ended the same way, with rejection after rejection, each one painful enough to make many people quit, but never enough to break her determination. Every audition seemed to come with a different excuse. One casting director claimed she wasn't dark enough. Another insisted she looked too urban. Others argued she appeared too urban, too young, too mature, or simply not what they were searching for. The explanations constantly contradicted each other, making the truth painfully obvious. The real obstacle wasn't her talent. It was an industry that struggled to imagine meaningful opportunities for a young black actress who refused to fit into its narrow expectations. Then, in 1985, everything appeared to change. At just 14 years old, Regina landed the role of Brenda Jenkins in the hit sitcom 227, starring alongside Marla Gibbs. The series became a major success and remained on television for 5 seasons. It should have been the breakthrough that transformed her life into a dream. Instead, it introduced a completely different kind of burden. Success came with sacrifices that most teenagers could never imagine. While other students enjoyed football games, school dances, and afternoons with friends, Regina spent her days balancing television production with education under the supervision of an on-set tutor. Her classroom became a film studio, and her teenage years disappeared beneath scripts, rehearsals, cameras, and endless working hours. She watched her younger sister, Raina, experience the ordinary moments of adolescence while she lived under bright studio lights, memoizing dialogue and meeting professional expectations that belonged to adults, not children. The income from 227 dramatically improved her family's circumstances. For the first time, Regina King could move her daughters into a safer neighborhood and provide a level of stability they had never known. But that blessing carried a hidden cost. At only 14 years old, Regina had unknowingly become one of the family's primary financial providers. The responsibility weighed heavily on her shoulders. Every episode suddenly meant more than entertainment. If her performance slipped, if ratings declined, or if the show ended unexpectedly, she feared her family's future would collapse along with it. Financial security and emotional acceptance became deeply connected in her mind, creating patterns that would influence many of her relationships later in life. When 227 concluded in 1990, Regina was 19 and standing at one of Hollywood's most difficult crossroads. Like countless former child stars before her, she faced the painful transition into adulthood. The industry that had eagerly embraced her as a teenage actress no longer seemed interested. She had aged out of youthful roles but lacked the status required for major leading performances. Opportunities for Black women remained painfully limited, leaving talented actresses fighting over only a handful of meaningful characters. Determined to build a stronger future, Regina enrolled at the University of Southern California to study theater, believing formal education would strengthen both her skills and her credibility. But adjusting to college life proved far more difficult than she expected. After years of working on professional sets, the classroom felt restrictive, and many classmates couldn't relate to someone who had spent her teenage years helping support an entire family. The distance between her life experiences and theirs became impossible to ignore. Less than 2 years later, she made the difficult decision to leave college. It was a choice that haunted her for years. She questioned herself constantly, believing she had thrown away an opportunity that few young women from her background were ever given. With no degree and no clear path forward, Regina returned to auditioning full-time, accepting nearly every role she could find, even when many of those opportunities reduced talented Black actresses to limiting and deeply discouraging stereotypes. Gang members, troubled girlfriends, sex workers, drug addicts. Time after time, Regina found herself being offered characters built around the same damaging stereotypes Hollywood repeatedly assigned to Black women. The early 1990s became one of the most discouraging periods of her career. While many white actors of her generation quickly moved into leading roles in blockbuster films, Regina struggled to secure more than occasional guest appearances and supporting parts. The discrimination was rarely spoken aloud, but it was impossible to ignore. Producers often claimed they wanted someone who felt more commercial or more relatable, phrases that frequently translated into choosing white actresses instead. Even when Black performers were considered, lighter skin tones and Eurocentric beauty standards were often favored over Regina's natural appearance. Her remarkable talent was constantly overshadowed by an industry unwilling to look beyond outdated prejudices. As opportunities became scarce, financial hardship returned with painful force. The young woman who had once helped support her entire family suddenly found herself unable to maintain her own independence. Swallowing her pride, Regina moved back into her mother's home, a decision that felt like losing everything she had worked so hard to achieve. Between auditions, she accepted ordinary retail jobs just to pay basic expenses. Customers walked past her every day without realizing the woman behind the counter had once starred in a successful television series. The emotional toll became overwhelming. Depression slowly took hold, draining her motivation and confidence. Some mornings she couldn't even gather the strength to attend auditions, questioning whether her dream had already come to an end. As stress mounted, she gained weight, creating yet another obstacle in an industry obsessed with unrealistic beauty standards. Before reaching her 25th birthday, Regina already felt invisible, forgotten, and convinced that Hollywood had left her behind. Everything began to change in 1996 when she delivered a memorable performance as Marcy Tidwell in Jerry Maguire. Although it wasn't the lead role, critics and audiences immediately recognized the emotional depth she brought to the screen. That performance opened doors to stronger opportunities in films such as Enemy of the State, Daddy Day Care, Ray, and A Cinderella Story. Yet television ultimately became the place where Regina proved beyond doubt that she was one of the finest actresses of her generation. Her powerful portrayal of Detective Lydia Adams in Southland earned widespread critical praise, while American Crime allowed her to portray completely different characters across multiple seasons, winning 2 Emmy Awards for her extraordinary performances. Then came the defining moment of her career. In 2018, Regina's unforgettable role in If Beale Street Could Talk earned her the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. After more than 3 decades of relentless perseverance, rejection, financial struggle, and constant underestimation, Hollywood finally gave her its highest honor. But even standing on that Oscar stage, victory carried a painful reminder of everything she had been denied for so many years. She couldn't help wondering how many remarkable roles had slipped away simply because the industry failed to recognize her value sooner. Away from the cameras, Regina's personal life proved just as complicated. She married Ian Alexander Sr., and together they welcomed their son, Ian Alexander Jr., the person who would eventually become the center of her world. However, the marriage struggled beneath the pressure of demanding careers, financial imbalance, and growing emotional distance. As Regina's professional success increased, tensions at home became harder to ignore. Years of disagreements eventually ended in divorce, followed by painful legal disputes involving finances and custody. The experience left Regina carrying deep emotional scars. She questioned whether she had repeated the painful patterns she witnessed during her own childhood and wondered if pursuing success had cost her the family life she always dreamed of having. Later relationships failed to fill that emotional void. Trust became increasingly difficult. She built protective walls around herself, fearing disappointment more than loneliness, and found it almost impossible to believe someone could truly love her without being influenced by her fame or accomplishments. That is why her relationship with her son became the foundation of her entire emotional world. Regina poured into Ian every ounce of love, encouragement, and support she possessed. They shared a passion for music, understood each other's struggles, and formed a bond that friends often described as exceptionally close. Ian grew into a talented DJ and musician with enormous potential, making his sudden death by suicide in January 2022 almost impossible for those around him to comprehend. Only days after Regina celebrated her 51st birthday, her entire world collapsed. The heartbreaking news devastated not only Hollywood but millions of people who admired the family from afar. Regina's public statement was brief, respectful, and dignified, but no carefully chosen words could possibly express the unimaginable pain of losing an only child. Behind closed doors, she was left asking questions that countless grieving parents silently carry forever. Did she miss warning signs? Could she have done something differently?